Today we're going to be watching how Viking.gg managed to take down OG in a best of 3. Now we're going to be looking at one of the games where they picked Alchemist. They actually beat OG twice in a row with Alchemist, and I think it's very notable to really see how these, I would say, tier 2 teams such as Viking.gg can actually take down a tier 1 team like OG. As well, I just kind of want to teach you guys how to play Alchemist within this video and show it how it's played at the top tier of Dota. So if you can get anywhere close to this in your pubs, you're almost guaranteed to win if you can farm at the level that Shad does in this match. In fact, some say that Shad took a shad on OG in this match. But if you guys are looking forward to this video like I am, I really do like VOD announcing these pro games in particular. They're just a ton of fun for me. I've always watched basically every pro game, if not the highlights. So yeah, if you're excited for this, let me know, obviously in the comment section down below, and like the video as well to help support your boy Speed. And on top of the content you're going to be seeing today, I recently talked about Necro. I played a Necro game where live, I talked about all of my thoughts and really everything that came to mind. It was a very funny match as they basically gave up early on. But what I discussed was like how to crush the early game, how to really dominate your laning stage and not just go even. Because a lot of people think they're winning. They think they're doing okay, but at the end of the day, they're not really doing that well. So if you're interested in seeing that video, click the link down below to the gameleap website. It's over there. I've also made some other videos such as a live Legion game. I've even talked about Tidehunter recently, updating his course. We even have an updated Legion course now. And so there's so many things to check out on the gameleap website. Super cheap. A lot of time on our hands, I'm sure right now, because of the quarantine that I am also going through. Hopefully I'll see you guys there. And now let's get into the video. So the first thing I want to mention is the starting item build from the mid Alchemist. He actually doesn't go any branches, which is very unorthodox for the current state of Dota. Most people are buying branches in the mid lane, but he actually makes this really cool change where he goes a ring of protection. He's against a mid-nature's prophet, which is kind of a meme, I guess I'll say, that has been run by OG over and over again, as they have 33 as their mid laner. So basically, he goes a ring of protection to help deal with the treant damage, as well as the right clicks from the Nature's Prophet, and I think it was a great adjustment. So as you're going to see in this clip here, the main reason why Shad is actually able to get any CS against 33's Nature's Prophet is his proper usage of creep aggro to bring the wave all the way under his tower. Because the reality is, guys, if you guys went against 33 Nature's Prophet, I guarantee you would have 10 CS at the 10-minute mark, and no, I'm really not kidding. It is almost impossible to last hit against it if you don't play the lane properly. So what you're going to see him do here is he's going to pull aggro, right? Doesn't actually have a DD. This is a bug, guys. But he's going to pull it once again here, right? Pulls it all the way onto the range creep. And then by auto-attacking down this melee creep as well as the range creep, he unfortunately misses 2 creeps back here. But that's an okay trade, right? He understands that he's going to have to make trades within this lane. It's a very bad matchup. He understands this, 33 understands this, so he's willing to take the loss. A lot of players, what they would have done here, and I guarantee it, in fact you should think if you would have as well, is they would have went for those 2 range creeps, basically lost 95% of their health, if not died, and the lane would be over. Alright, moving into my next point, we're going to be at the 7-minute mark here, and I just want to make sure you guys really pay attention to the fact that he's jungling at the 7-minute mark. This is still a major inefficiency I'm seeing within a lot of mid players, even just farmers in general, whether or not you're a safe lane farmer or a mid lane such as a Storm, SF, or Alchemist, where basically what you want to do in this current meta is take your stacks at the 7-minute mark, right? Do not farm stacks until the 7-minute mark. I can't stress enough how important these jungle items are right now, right? Right off the bat here, we're going to see Shad able to pick up a Faded Brooch, which is huge. This item is going to give him the mana he needs to sustain the game, and on top of that, 25 movement speed, which easily could be the difference between him staying alive against the lack of disable that OG has. And basically all I'm saying is that within your own gameplay, make sure you really pay attention to this. Whether or not you're a support or a core, make stacks leading up to the 7-minute mark and then take them at the 7-minute mark. Because now all of a sudden, he has a Royal Jelly, an Ocean Heart, a Faded Brooch. Also, by the way, Faded Brooch is broken. Movement speed is kind of insane for the early game, and that's where you're going to see him actually take it over an Ocean Heart, and I recommend you guys do the same thing on any of your mid laners. It really is just such a good core item. In fact, I think it's a better core item than support item. The next thing I want to briefly mention, and if you want to see all of like Alch farming patterns, I have videos in the past about Alchemist, but the main thing that Shad does on Radiant here is that he's going to be using the acid spray to drag this camp out and around, and then drags, obviously, whatever's in this medium camp over to the area and is able to farm multiple stacks by doing this. Now, moving ahead here, obviously, Shad on the Alchemist is against OG, and they're going to pressure him. He's playing Alchemist, they're going to run at him. This is a guarantee. You see the Nature's Prophet rotating over, Shad is getting run at. However, because of this Ring of Protection and the Brooch, as well as the Treads double bracer build, he does not end up going down here. On top of that, he immediately quellings out of the Sprout, right? Obviously identifying his matchups and understanding what he needs to do to get out before the gank even comes. And now you're going to see what Viking.gg does to respond. They immediately bring every single hero mid except for one. And I actually really like this because they end up taking a mini skirmish, but what I really love that Viking.gg did is that they didn't overcommit to the dive of OG, right? They saved Shad, they TP'd in what they needed, but the Death Prophet did not. And Death Prophet was not having a good game. As you can see, she's below all of the OG cores, and instead of TPing into the fight and freaking out, she continues to farm. And this is, I'm not kidding, this is the main thing that I think Viking.gg does maybe better in this series than a lot of the pro games. I mean, think back to TI9, where Liquid's playing against OG. OG would dive, and all of a sudden Liquid would bring 5 heroes and stop farming, when maybe they didn't have to. Maybe they could have let that one tower go, or maybe they could have let that extra hero go. But instead, Viking.gg does not do this. The Alchemist continues to farm, the DP gets her levels up, and even though they end up losing the mid tower and a bit of, heroes, it really doesn't matter. In fact, I would say it favors them, as the Alchemist is going to get like an 11-minute radiance. And really, I do want to point out a couple of different decisions here. Number one, the Death Prophet ended up just going down, right? There's 19 seconds on the clock, but the Alchemist actually rushes a Blink Dagger and has a Blink Dagger Radiance by 12 minutes and 43 seconds due to the fact that when he got his Radiance, he didn't stop farming. On top of that, if I go back 10 seconds, you're going to notice that once again, they got a pick off, and Viking.gg still has someone in the top lane farming. Right, I think this is really a major concept here that works well, where basically they always continue to have someone farming. On top of that, Shad on the Alchemist sees Notal out of position here and isn't afraid to jump, which I think is huge. Often you'll see these tier 2 teams hesitate a lot against the tier 1 teams of the likes of OG and Secret, but Shad has absolutely no fear here, jumps in, takes on the Oracle right off the bat on the fight, and funny enough, OG has to disengage. Next up here, I really love the positioning of the Vengeful Spirit in this game. Not only is she helping the Alchemist farm here and been making stacks all game to enable the win condition of the Alchemist, but also we're going to see some great positioning from the Venge here. So she doesn't know where the vision of OG is, right? OG just invaded, and whenever a pro team invades, what they do is they throw up wards. In this area, they'll throw up deep wards, and here, you don't really know if you're seen or not. So I love this movement by the Venge here. In fact, I want to look at her player perspective. She sort of just runs in this jungle. Now, I don't know if she exactly expected this smoke game coming, but all in all, I like the fact that she was going for D-wards, and at the end of the day, trying to get rid of the vision that would threaten the Alchemist. And really fortunately for Viking.gg, they bump into this Vengeful Spirit, which is a complete waste of time for OG. They burn a smoke, and in the pro scene, using smokes is a big deal. You don't just have unlimited smoke. You're gonna run out almost every single game, and this is key here, because now the Alchemist doesn't die, he's able to continue farming just a little bit south, and now he's able to even jump the Rubik here. On top of that, once again, guys, look top, right? So the Alchemist has just gotten kicked out of bottom. I mentioned him jumping the Rubik, but what do we see? The Pangolier, right, was pushing in the top lane before he left. Now, of course, he's TPing into the fight. He wants to defend the Alchemist, as we saw earlier, but it is very important to note that he pushed in the top lane here, right? He shoved it in. So guys, if you're playing an off-lane hero, or you're playing, let's say, a safe laner or a mid laner, and you have a Medusa, you have an Alchemist, a Terrorblade, a PA that needs to farm, these type of heroes on your team, do not stick in your jungle. You are griefing your team's ability to stay safe. You really, really are. So instead, the Pango gets out of the base, gets in the waves, and then TP's in. And funny enough, look, because he shoved in the wave, he actually forces a teleport from the Nature's Prophet, and they're able to secure the bottom side of the map for their Alchemist. Also, funny enough, once again, they're actually able to completely dodge a gank from OG. OG re-invaded the jungle here, but funny enough, the supports are the only heroes dying once again, and they've sort of thrown their bodies at the side of OG over and over again. Is this fully intentional? I won't know, as I haven't been able to obviously speak to the players, but it's very clear that there's something at least going in their head, whether or not it's to get rid of the vision or actually to tank the ganks. And I really think this is probably the main thing that won them the game, the fact that Shad just doesn't die. One thing I also want to mention is if you end up watching this game, you'll notice that they never actually push a tower. And guys, I'm trying to get this concept across to you. If you are behind or the game is even, do not walk up and hit a tower. Do you understand how big of a disadvantage that puts you at in terms of vision? It's literally game losing if you walk up to a tower with no vision. So if the game is even, guys, look to call smokes, look to force the enemy team around the map, or take Roche like you're going to see them do here. please, for the love of God, for the love of Dota, do not run up to a tower. Do what Viking.gg is doing here, which is forcing Roshan. Now, if OG wants to fight them, they can take a fight around the Roshan pit. In fact, they're able to make an immediate smoke play coming out of the pit. And finally here, even with the Aegis, you notice how they don't just run up to the tier 1 tower? I love this so much because most of the time in pubs, when people get an Aegis, they're like, hoorah! And they just run up to the tower and kill themselves. But it really is terrible. It really, really is. It does not work. In fact, if you watch your pubs, the time your team is going to lose the fight is almost always when you walk up to a tower. It's very straightforward, very clear. And now looking at the fight here, OG does a really nice jump onto the Death Prophet, but the target priority of Shad comes into play here. Unfortunately, he misses a lot of attacks. He got hit by the whirling axes of the Troll Warlord. But because of his item build, right, because of the fact that he has an AC Radiant BKB Blink Dagger in 19 minutes and his 19,000 net worth at the 19-minute mark, basically 1k GPM, he's able to man up to Sumail here. And you have to ask yourself the question, am I able to get even close to this GPM in my pubs? And now I already hear you guys in the comments.
Speed, I can't get to this GPM because my supports never stack, as well as the fact that my teammates will never make space for me.
Dude, stop. Guys, if you actually tell yourself that, like, my gosh, you actually will never get better, funny enough. But please, pay attention to your item timings. Fix them every single game. That should be your main goal if you're going to play at Dusa, Alch, I don't know, Jug, Battle Fury, Terrorblade. Fix your timings, get them better and better every game, and that'll be a great indicator of whether or not you can actually fight properly and just in gaining MMR. And on top of that, now they actually go for the towers, right? They go back for the tower. They take an engagement. They make a really good play where they actually have vision of OG, or general vision of OG. They don't let the enemy team get a perfect jump, right? They didn't give the Centaur a 2-3-man stun option. And because of that, they're able to win the fight and continue farming. All right, I want to talk about a pretty key movement here that, once again, a lot of teams wouldn't make. So looking at the map right now, there is a shoved in wave bottom, meaning that OG probably will respond to this, especially if it's a pub match. You're going to see everyone respond to this. Funny enough, Seb actually instantly TPing on the Centaur to actually go farm there. And all of OG actually shifts towards this wave that was just pushed in. And what we're going to see from Viking is that they do not run down the mid lane. What a lot of pub players would do is that they'd push in this mid lane, and if they feel like they're ahead, they would immediately draw a line through here. Obviously, with their movement, they would go through here, walk up the hill, and take a very disadvantageous fight. Instead, what Viking GG does is that they read this movement. They're like, okay, we push in mid, we push in bottom. OG is probably going to react. They shift the top to mirror that movement, and eventually, they're able to group up and take another coordinated fight, which I really like because often what I see when I'm watching these tier 2 versus tier 1 Dota teams is that the tier 1 Dota team, even if they get ahead, they actually never are able to initiate the fight. They always fall behind or get picked off, and we don't see that from Viking GG here. They keep their composure and they don't get caught off guard. In fact, funny enough, OG went for smoke gank, they didn't find anyone, and because of it, they're able to find the Oracle. And this is because they stuck together, played around vision, at least each other's vision, and played it slow. Then, once they know things have settled down and they get a pick off onto the Oracle, they're able to shove in the bottom wave with the Pangolier, who fortunately lives on very small amounts of HP, shove in the mid lane, and eventually collapse onto OG. And now skipping ahead here, I do just want to mention that this game has been going really solid for Shad, a 36k lead. He has a Moon Shard. You're going to see that he has given an Aghanim Scepter to the Pangolier. He's given one to the Venge, to the Death Prophet. Unfortunately not to the Snapfire. I guess they don't value the Gobble Up enough. But all in all, right, he's been able to give his team an insane amount of net worth, boosting up their ability to fight. On top of that here, I really like his Battle Fury purchase this game. I think it's just a good DPS item overall. It's really just okay. But most importantly, and the reason why he has it, is to get himself out of Sprout for the Nature's Prophet. Otherwise, he would literally just get info-sprouted by the Prophet and kited the entire fight. And to end off this video, I want to watch a fight from the outside perspective. So looking at it here, we see a great swap out onto the Pangolier. They're able to fear the Centaur and generally focus him, right? They stay relatively centralized here and don't split up too much, right? You can even see the Venge sticking together. Now, 33 does end up finding the Venge on the backline, but I really like the kiting out that we see from the Pango and the Snapfire, really forcing OG to overcommit here. We see the Rubik committing in a lot of it, and then eventually the Alchemist is able to find the Oracle, the #1 target, right? The Vengeful Spirit with great itemization of the Force Staff and the Ghost Scepter is able to live, and over time, the Death Prophet, who has an Octarine core, a Witless Shaco giving her almost 5,000 HP, she's able to stay alive, find the Rubik, and they eventually catch out the Troll Warlord, who did have a Divine Rapier. Fortunately for him, the Force Staff comes out, he's able to save himself, right? Great itemization here once again. kiting out the enemy team of OG. I like the fact that the Pango did not go damage. He went all utility, understanding that the Alchemist and the DP would do all the damage for him this game. And finally, they're able to slowly inch out this fight, slowly but surely. Unfortunately, Shad does end up going down, but as you can see, it caused a lot of buybacks from the OG side. And now to finish off the game, we're going to see one more jump where Viking GG is actually able to find the Oracle. I guess OG didn't see the fact that there was a ward here, so great swap from Celery on the Vengeful Spirit, identifying the fact that, hey, if we catch out this Oracle, the fight is basically over, which is completely true. Also, I believe Oracle did not have buyback, and yeah, that's basically GG. So a great ward coming out from the Vengeful Spirit is able to secure the fight for them, and really it's shocking for OG to get caught out by such a, I guess I would say obvious ward, but that happens, right? They're humans, and as a result, this troll gets absolutely kited out by the Pangolier once again. Such a good build, disarming him, bashing him, kiting him out, literally can't do anything. He goes down, and that's going to be the end of the game. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this analysis of Viking GG against OG. I really enjoyed this match a lot. I was honestly shocked to hear that OG, or just watch OG lose to a team like this. I mean, not that they're obviously awful. They clearly are proving their worth. But all in all, I'm excited to see more from Viking in the future. And thank you guys for watching.
Peace.
And hey guys, remember, before you end this video, in the link down below, I've been playing a lot of live games where I talk about my thoughts in real time in the middle of a Dota match. So if you want to get in the head of a pro player, click the link down below to the gameleap website. Super cheap right now, right? And I'm doing this a ton. We all have time on our hands. I have time to make content. You guys probably have time to enjoy and learn Dota, get better at the game. So yeah, if that combo works for you, click the link down below, and I'll see you there.